Hi everybody, it's me, LisaT, coming at you with some nighttime energy, reading Lights Out, it's Lights Out with Lisa, reading The Language of Letting Go by Beattie. So we are reading, oh my goodness, July is almost over. Okay, keep at it. July 25th, keep at it. Keep at it. Don't give up 5 minutes before the miracle happens. Keep at it. Don't give up 5 minutes before the miracle happens. You know, it's like I've often used, it's been a while since I used it, but I like to use the analogy of a building in Toronto. So in Toronto, you'll walk by and there'll be the boards up all around. There'll be the little square that you can look through. And for months and months and months, you're looking and you're looking. You're like, oh yeah, they're still constructing. And you're looking. And then the next time you drive down, a freaking skyscraper is built. Like, so that end result, and same with like, the foundation, a foundation is being built, and it takes a long time to build that foundation. But once that foundation is solid and secure, boom, things explode. So, we got to keep at it, because it's sometimes it seems right when it gets really, really tough, that's right before the miracles happen, right before the, this epiphany happens, or this aha moment, or this huge resolve, or this huge healing happens. It sometimes gets really tough right before, and it's because this foundation is being built. And another analogy is, it just was in my head and now it's gone. It's gone. It's completely gone. So yeah, shit, it was a good one. Okay. Anyway, so keep at it. We gotta keep at it. We can't give up on ourselves. I want to remember it. Anyways, let's see if it comes back to me. Okay, so keep at it. Keep practicing your recovery behaviors, even when they feel awkward, even when they haven't quite taken yet, even if you don't get it yet. It was like another reading just recently where we were talking about it's okay to not understand what's happening. It's okay to not know what's going on right now. It's okay to not get it yet. It's okay to not figure it out. You know, that it's okay. So we got to just keep at it, because something beautiful is about to sprout. That's a guarantee with recovery. It's a guarantee. So keep practicing your recovery behaviors, even when they feel awkward, even when they haven't quite taken yet, and even if you don't get it yet. Just keep at it. Sometimes it takes years for a recovery concept to move from our mind to our hearts and our soul. The longest journey in life you're ever going to take is from your head to your heart. We are so in our heads. It's a conditioning. It's a human experience. We're so conditioned to be in our heads and think it through and but we got to get back into like what feels good, what feels right for us. And not, and then if something doesn't feel good, this is one of my things I used to do. Something wouldn't feel good, but I would be like, well, maybe it's okay, blah, 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 blah. And then that's as soon as I do that, I'm in my head and not in my heart anymore. And that can take years. We are de-thawing in recovery. We are undoing years, decades of shit that's built up. Other people's traumas, our parents' stuff, that we picked that up. We picked up so much stuff along the lines. We picked up concepts, beliefs, thinking patterns, thinking systems. But that's a lot of undoing, and that's what recovery and all spiritual journeys are about. It's about an undoing of all that stuff that's gotten in the way of our heart and soul. So sometimes it takes years for a recovery concept to move from our mind into our heart and soul. We need to work at recovery behaviors with the diligence, effort, and repeated practice we applied to codependency behavior. So a good analogy too for that one is like for someone that has alcoholism, think about how often you spent in a bar, how often you went to a bar. Probably if your alcoholism got to where it should go, if you're an alcoholic, it'll go to a spot where you're probably at a bar every night. Well, then in recovery, you got to then do the work every night like the same amount of energy you put into that, put into this. So if you're like me and you were codependent and you were give, what can I give to them to make the situation better? What can I give, instead of like thinking, what do I need to make this situation better? What do I need for this situation to feel good? It was always about outside. I got to make that all okay, these people all okay, so that I'm okay. I spent from when I was 12 years old I developed that. So then into recovery, I got to spend as much time as I did behaving in that way. I got to spend as much time in recovery doing the same stuff. So that can take years, and you got to be okay with that. The beautiful thing is that there's little milestone moments along the way that are going to give you like, aha. So, but the big ones are going to take some time. So, we need to work at our recovery behaviors with the diligence, effort, and repeated practice we applied to codependent behaviors. We need to force ourselves to do things even when they don't feel natural. It's about opposites. Recovery is about opposites too. So if you always, said yes, you got to practice saying no. If you always, I can't think of examples right now, but it's about the opposites. A lot of stuff is about doing the opposite. If you always turn to me, I have to even get off coffee these days because I turn to coffee as like a coping mechanism. I just want to I don't want to feel my feelings. So even coffee will give me enough of that I can feel coffee and not my feelings. So I got to do the opposite. I got to do something different. I got to do not coffee. So yeah, there's many examples I could use for that. So yeah, we need to force ourselves to do things even when they don't feel natural. Not that they don't feel good, but they don't feel natural. Well, because our natural, we get into habits. So it just becomes the familiar. We do the thing that's familiar. Like women in abusive relationships, they'll get into more abusive relationships because it's a familiar, not because it feels good. It's just familiar, and familiar is a comfort zone, and we got to break out of those comfort zones. So we need to force ourselves to do things different even when they don't feel natural. We need to tell ourselves we care about ourselves and can take care of ourselves even when we don't believe what we're saying. Fake it till you make it. I said that in a very recent video. Fake it till you make it. So take care. So, and tell ourselves things. So the last couple of days I've been practicing, telling myself, I'm wonderful. I'm a good friend. I'm just good positive thoughts. Just nothing but anytime there's one little negative and I catch it, I'm like, nope. Good. Positive. So, and at first, when you start doing something like that, changing the thinking and just flipping it and doing the opposite from a negative to a positive, you're not going to believe it. But I trust if you do a rampage of it, when a rampage is just over and over and over, and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and then you start to feel it. So we can fake it till we make it. If you don't feel it at first, keep doing it, and eventually your mind will catch up, or sorry, your feeling will catch up with what your mind is telling you. Body follows mind. Body follows. Oh, it was about muscles. The other analogy. So with muscles, I teach clients when they say a full body massage, but focus on my shoulders. Well, focus. Here's a green light and a red light. Focus on the red light. You're going to stay on the red light. So if I tell clients, let's stay in the area that's bothering, because the way a muscle works is the same as that skyscraper analogy. So with a muscle, you're massaging, and it's in that last minute, it just releases. It's not like it slowly gets, it just kind of releases. So I tell clients, if we spend only 4 minutes here, that last minute is when the magic's going to happen. So we want to just stay there until the magic happens. So keep at it until the magic happens. Don't leave 5 minutes before the miracle happens. Don't stop massaging 5 minutes before that muscle releases. Yes, I got it. Okay, so so we need to tell ourselves we care about ourselves and can take care of ourselves even when we don't believe what we're saying. You will believe it if you say it over and over and over. A belief is simply a thought that you've thought over and over and over. We need to do it and do it and do it and do it day after day after day after year after year after year. It is unreasonable to expect this new way of life to just sink in overnight. That's just not a reasonable thing. Again, if a friend of mine has always said to me, Lisa, you walk 40 miles into the bush, you got to walk 40 miles out. And at first I'd be like, pooey on that, but he's right. So if we've done 40 years of this, if we've done 40 years of codependency or any kind of addiction behavior, then we got to give ourselves time to uncoil from that. And it won't take the same amount of time, though. I promise. Well, from my experience, that's the case, anyways. So it's unreasonable to think that it's going to have to change overnight. We may have to act as if for months or even years Before recovery behaviors become ingrained and natural and knee-jerk reactions. The recovery behaviors are thinking stuff too, right? Thought, action follows thought. We think something and then we act on it. That becomes a behavior when we do it over and over. So, even after years, we may find ourselves in times of stress or duress, reverting to old ways of thinking, feeling, and behaving. I just felt I was going through 2 weeks of stressful stuff. Something was coming at me regarding my security in my home and everything, and it was so stressful. And a friend of mine said, "Lisa, oh my God, you're regressing." And I was like, right, I need to ramp up. When life gets stressful, we need to ramp up on our recovery tools. And then I did that just for 2 days. I ramped up and things changed. So even after years, when we find ourselves in times of stress or duress, reverting to old ways of thinking, then feeling, and then behaving. Thinking, feeling, and behaving. We may have layers of feelings we aren't ready to acknowledge until years into recovery. I was just talking to a woman tonight, a friend of mine, and I said to her, wait till 5 years into this recovery that you're in. Wait till 5 years has gone by until you address that thing, because it's going to be heavy when you address it. I suggested to her, because I've dealt with things a little bit too soon sometimes, and it's been super painful. So sometimes we need some recovery under our belts before we can even address some really painful issues in our lives, because we're not ready. We're just not ready, and that's okay. We may have layers of feelings we aren't ready to acknowledge until years into recovery, and that's okay. When it's time, we will. Do not give up. It takes time to get self-love into the core of us. We can think about it and we can talk about it, but is it right in here? It takes time to get right into the core, till it's like till it's who you are, you know? Do not give up. It takes time to get self-love into the core of us. It takes repeated practice, repetition, practice. You don't just start yoga today and become a yogi, you don't just start running today and become a marathon runner. We got to practice it. You don't pick up a guitar and just like automatically play, unless you're like some epiphany in the world. But you practice makes perfect. So we got to practice these things. So that if you were a little kid learning piano, your mom would make you practice it weekly, daily, so that you would get good at it. Well, recovery is no different. So it takes time to get it takes repeated practice, time and experience, lessons, and more lessons. Living and learning. Then, just when we think we've arrived, we find we have more to learn. You've never arrived. You're on the human journey, a spiritual journey in the human experience. You will never arrive. You've never just come. And if you did, you would be bored as heck the rest of your life. So we're always going to be learning, and just when you think you've learned it all, you're going to learn more. That's the joy of recovery. We get to keep learning and growing all of our life. Keep on taking care of yourself, no matter what comes your way. You keep on taking care of yourself. Keep on plugging away at recovery behaviors, one day at a time. Keep on loving yourself, even when it doesn't feel natural. Act as if for as long as necessary. We're going to do it until. We're not going to do it for 3 months or 3 years, or, we're just going to do it until. We're going to do it until, boom, it happens. So keep on plugging away at recovery behaviors one day at a time. Keep on loving yourself even when it doesn't feel natural. Act as if for as long as necessary, even if that time period feels longer than necessary. Keep doing it as long as necessary, even if it feels longer than necessary. One day it will happen. You will wake up and find that what you've been struggling with and working so hard at and forcing yourself to do finally just feels comfortable and natural. It has hit your soul. When that happens, it's hit your soul. Your soul. Then you go on to learn something new and better. Beautiful, right? Okay, here's your prayer for today. Today, I will plug away at my recovery behaviors, even if they don't feel natural. I will force myself to go through the motions, even if that feels awkward. I will work on loving myself until I really do. Oh, I will work on loving myself until I really do. Beautiful. Love you all. Thanks for watching.